is Mike Sylvia with New Bedford Guy. We just talked to Charlie Perry running for mayor. We're here with Mitchell Garner talking about his running for mayor. So Mitchell, why should people vote for you for mayor?
I feel like people should vote for me because I'm bringing something new to the table. I'm fresh, and I'm actually bringing positive energy to our city. I just want to state right off the bat that I do not support panhandling. I think we have a big epidemic on our hand, and if you look back, it's from 1 to about 100 on every corner. I feel like we need to invest our money within local shelters, local drug shelters. We need to invest our money within pantries and really try to stop the panhandling within our city. I want to also address the whole golf course situation here. I do not support that. If you look back, there's a lot of students in high schools right now that are actually using that course for training, to learn about golf, and to further their education, maybe getting into college if they're that great. So I do not support that. I feel like we need to look more in different parts of the city to build this area. And also I want to talk about education. I feel like right now you look at the campaign for McDonald's for example. They're fighting to rise their increase with money, and I feel like we should be fighting for our educators to rise their increase with money, because we have teachers out here that are in stores daily spending their money for supplies for students that we're bringing towards them to educate. So there's a lot going on in our city, and I feel like it needs to be addressed. I want more foot patrols, because right now we have this shadow that when you look at an officer, you should run. I'm being honest. You look at the news right now, there's a lot of things going on with police officers, and I feel like not every officer is bad, and I feel like we need to really set that as an example by having them on the ground, meeting people, creating relationships, and really building with our city and our community. Also, I want to address something because I wouldn't feel right with myself not to address it. I think we need more police training. I'm not saying every police officer is not correct trained, but just for a quick minute, I want to talk about Malcolm. 15 years old, made a bad decision. Malcolm Garcia pulled out a knife. I feel like if you are properly trained, you tase him, mace him, you bring him down. For him to be shot dead down on the ground is not acceptable. I want to talk about crime in our city. Teo, in broad daylight, murdered. Where are the officers in place? We need to really put more officers in place to protect our city, to protect our youth. And I'm not saying every youth in the city is a law-abiding citizen, but at the end of the day, that's someone's son, that's someone's, daughter, and we're going through an epidemic of crime, and everybody's really saying that crime is not a problem in our city when crime is a problem. Aaron, shot. He goes by Dush, shot, killed. Crime's a problem. And I'm really pushing to really come in, clean up the streets, and really stop the murders. Because right now, we are failing. We are failing our society. We are failing each other. I am failing my city by not stepping up and saying what I'm saying right now. If I did not address these issues, if I did not say Malcolm's name, Teo's name, even Kaylin Bookman, took her life. This should not be happening. We should have programs installed to save our youth. We need more youth programs. We need more outreach teams to really work with the homeless, work with the youth, supply the homeless with areas to go to that they can find shelter and food. We need a sanitary facility for homeless people so they can shower, take care of themselves, wash themselves, and feel like a human being. There's so much going on in the city, and I know I don't have all the answers. I'm not coming here saying I'm number one, I have all the answers. I'm coming here saying we have a problem. Even if I lose, I would like these problems addressed. Win or lose, I'm here to make a statement and stand up for my city because I love New Bedford. It brings me to almost tears that we are losing each other every day, reading the paper every day. And I want to show respect to Puerto Rico right now, because right now they're underwater no signal. A lot of my family, a lot of my friends can't reach their family and friends in Puerto Rico because of what's going on over there. So I would like to send my love and respect to Puerto Rico because that is important. We should be at Red Cross. We should be out in the community working with organizations that really help them out. And basically that's what I'm standing for, just to really change something, not just to talk about the same thing everybody is talking about. The fire blackout is unacceptable. We can be in this room right now. Let's prime example. I'm not saying what location, I'm not saying where we're located, but we can be in this room right now, trapped in a fire, and the fire station down the street could be closed down. Me and you are trapped, nowhere to go, and we have to wait to see if we live or if we die. That's a problem.
Okay, so Kaya asks, do you know if New Bedford officers have body cams? So I'm guessing, do you know if they have them? If they don't, would you support having them wear them?
I support 100% having body cams because, again, I'm not targeting every officer. My uncle is a retired officer. I love him with all my heart. A good friend of mine, Officer Taylor, was a teacher. He was my teacher in New Bedford High School. I love him with all my heart. But I believe every officer should have body cam because you never know what's really happening unless you have that support. And that's going to help the community. Because if you see an officer approach you with a body cam, what are you thinking? Like, oh, maybe he's not going to do something. Maybe I can feel safe in his arms because I know he's recording. Unfortunately, it's a sad thing to say, but that's how people are looking at officers right now. And I want to change that opinion of officers because, again, I know all officers are not bad.
So day one, you're elected to mayor. What's your number one priority?
My priority is cleaning up the streets. There's potholes all over North End. I live in North End. We really need to do something about the potholes. We really need to do something about the murders. We really need to stop pushing people into Denison Memorial, North Star Learning Centers, organizations like Third Eye, and really start helping our youth. Because at the end of the day, when we are old, these are the people that are going to be running the show.
So Craig asks, what have you done to make you qualified for mayor? So what's your background?
I have worked with Sam Sutter to keep the guns off the street campaign. I've helped him create that campaign. I pushed that. I have worked with youth for over 10 years. I have taken people off the streets, put them into college education, and I believe I've done a lot. I've done a lot of fundraising, for organizations. I've done a lot of fundraisings for different cities, different towns. I'm not claiming to be top priority, so to speak. I'm not saying I'm the best. I don't want it to be about that. I want it to be about what the community wants, what they want changed, what they see that needs to be done. It should not only be what I want, because if it's all about me, there's no community.
So what do you find to be the best thing about the city of New Bedford?
I find to be the best thing about the city of New Bedford, the people. There's not all bad people out there. I can walk down the street and have a conversation with an older woman, a younger woman, a child. The people bring out what New Bedford really is. What we're fighting for is the people, is a better change. And I love the people here. I have great relationships with many people here. And I think that's the best thing about this city. How everybody is stepping up, and win or lose, they want that change. Community members want that change, and they will tell you to your face what they want, and I think that's important.
So what are the solutions for the crime level? How do you bring it down?
Again, we need to have more foot patrol. We need to take it back. Let me tell you something. Old school is not all bad. Sometimes you need a result going back to the old ways. Again, if I'm over here, a drug dealer on a park, if I'm at a park selling drugs and I see this officer walking down the street, and he's there daily walking down the street, and every time I see him, I'm walking away, that's making a statement. You're not welcome here. I think the situation with Riverside Park, and we was addressing that a little bit, that needs to change. There's too many overdoses. I don't want to have my nieces and nephews at Riverside Park turn to the right and see this guy overdosing on a bench, dying, and we're not doing nothing about that. Do you think that they're doing drugs in a park where a cop is going to be present, they will not.
So here's a question for Eric. Says, explain the city budget. How does it work?
The city budget, again, that's something I have to be more familiar with. There's a lot going on with the city, especially we'll talk about downtown New Bedford. A lot of money went into downtown New Bedford. I would like to go into the city budget, learn it, because again, I'm not an expert. I'm not claiming to be an expert. I don't know everything about the budget. I know a little bit about a little bit. You know, it's a learning process, not just for me, but for me, Charlie Perry, even the mayor. He does not know everything. It's a learning process. But we need to invest more money around the city as a whole, north, south, west, and not just downtown New Bedford.
How do you solve the panhandling problem?
Panhandling problem, again, it comes down to us giving money. We cannot be giving people money. I know it's hard. As someone that goes to church, it is hard to see someone struggling and not want to help them. But let's give them food. Let's create a team that goes out there where they are stationed and really give them pamphlets and bring them to shelters to get help. Let's where they're standing in between the middle of the highways, let's plant trees there, plants there, to really blossom New Bedford instead of having someone there asking for money. Let's get them help. We're not helping them by giving them money. I promise you that we are not helping the situation. We really need to help them by getting them into organizations, shelters. That's how we're gonna help them.
Okay, so this was your mayoral candidate, Mitchell Garner. Up next at 7:30 is Scott Lima for Ward 5. Thanks, Mitchell.
Thank you.